Hello, everybody. It is Miss Smith, and welcome to our first official digital learning lesson. I have got some new toys that I'm so excited to get to use, and one of them is this really cool tablet that I will show you guys tomorrow when we video chat for a lesson that helps me write on. So I write on the tablet and it appears on the screen, and so that way I'm able to record my screen and then share it with you guys so that we can take notes just like we usually do. I'm sure you recognize the slides. Um, so that is what we're going to be doing. I want to make this as easy as possible for you guys. So what I have decided to do is I have the copy of our Unit 7 statistics notes key on my computer. And so when we are going to go over our notes, I will be using my answer key so that you can follow along and fill in your notes as you need. That way you can pause this video and fill in the notes before you miss anything that I might teach outside of those notes. So it's a really good opportunity for you to get the notes copied down so that you can use them later, but also get to see me actually writing and working out some problems on this screen. So with that being said, I'm going to erase this and we're going to head on over to the notes. So if you don't already, which I did not tell you to, but we are going to be using our gold/white, whichever color you got, gold or white notes that we got right before break. They are Unit 7 statistic notes. Math 6 people, you did not have a chance to get these in person. So what you're going to need to do is you can either print out my answer key, which will be on Canvas under the Unit 7 statistic module, or you can write these out on notebook paper for yourself. I like to write everything down because that's how I learn best, but if it would be easier for you to have them in front of you already written down while I'm just talking about it, that works too. Whatever is easiest for you. This whole digital learning time is a struggle for all of us, including me. So I totally understand. And if you need, something else or you need some other advice on how to take these notes, then just reach out to me on a Canvas message or an email and we can get you all sorted away and figured out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So at this point, you should go ahead and have those gold or white notes out. And I want you to turn to the section. It should be page 5, which would be like the 3rd page in, like front and back. So we're working with box and whisker plots. You may have also heard them referred to as just a box plot. That is also something that they're called. You'll understand why they're called box and whisker plots in just a minute when I show you one. And you may have heard of one before, which is totally cool too, and you may have seen them. And that just makes, this lesson a whole lot easier for you. But anyways, so a box and whisker plot, before we really get into it, today's lesson is really all about being able to identify the different parts of a box and whisker plot. So box and whisker plots show the distribution of a data set. Now, the distribution of a data set is basically just showing you how the data is spread out. So from the lowest number to the biggest number and all the numbers in between, how it is spread out on a number line. It gives us a really good visual picture of what that data would look like. But it's not having to plot every single point. If you notice right here, it's talking about a box and whisker plot is divided into 4 parts. They're called quartiles. When I hear the word quartiles, I think of quarters, and that's actually a really good thing here because with quarters are 25 cents, right? So if a quarter is 25 cents, a quartile is actually representing 25% of the data. So each of the 4 parts represents 25%, which is really cool. And you'll be able to see that a little bit more clearly when I show you what a box and whisker plot looks like. But when we're dealing with box and whisker plots, there are 5 different points, 5 different numbers that you are having to deal with. So the 5 different numbers we're dealing with are the median. So you guys know about median. We took a little quiz on mean, median, mode, and range about 2 weeks ago, and we did a skills check over it right before we left. So you should have a pretty good idea, my advanced math kiddos, of what those are. My Math 6 kiddos, we did this last week. So everybody should have a pretty good idea at this point what median is. So the median is the middle of the data, whatever is in the very, very center. That will not change. The median is always going to be right in the middle of our data, okay? Now, the other 4 numbers that we're dealing with are right here. So we're looking for, when we have a median, I'm just going to draw a line and kind of to represent this. Ooh, that's very crooked. So our median is going to be right in the, holy moly, right in the center. So like right there, right? So if we have our median right there, then our lower quartile is going to be the median of just this lower section. So the middle of the lower section. So I'm going to put an LQ right there. So the median of the lower half is going to be our lower quartile, which means that the upper quartile is going to be the median of the upper half. So I'm going to put a UQ right there. So those are 2 new terms for you guys, and I'm very aware of that. And you will be hearing them a lot over the next couple of days and the next couple of lessons. So just get used to those. And if you have any questions, make a note of it, because when we have our Microsoft Teams study sessions, if you don't understand this part, I need you to ask me a question during that time. Okay, so we've got our median, we've got our lower quartile, our upper quartile, but that's just 3 numbers. And I told you guys we're going to have to deal with 5 numbers here. The next are 2 really, really easy ones that you should be able to pick out really quickly with our data sets. It's going to be our lower extreme, which is basically just another word for the minimum. So I'm going to put min right there. And then our upper extreme, which is our maximum. So the smallest and the largest number in that data set. That's all we're looking for here. So we've got all 5 of our numbers now. We know that each quartile is 25%. And then we know that what the name of this weird thing is a box and whisker plot and a box plot. However, you have not seen one yet. So I am going to flip back over to our PowerPoint. Here we've got, on this one graph, we actually have 2 box and whisker plots. So hopefully you understand why they're called box and whisker plots now. We've got a box and its whiskers. Okay, very creative, I know. And please bear with me with this writing. It is new for me, and hopefully it will all be legible. And if it's not, let me know that too, because if you can't read it, then I'm just gonna have to figure something else out, and that's totally fine. So, dealing with box and whisker plots. This is our box and whisker plot. This is also a box and whisker plot. We've got our number line down here, and the point of the number line is really just to tell us what these values are. When I ask you guys to do your box and whisker plot, you're going to have to put dots here, and honestly, it makes it so much easier to read the box and whisker plot when you have those dots, because it leads you down perfectly to what its value is. So back to the graph. We've got our box and whisker plot here. Now, I'm sure you can probably guess what this point is. if it is the smallest number, furthest down on the number line, what do you think this is going to be? This dot right here, it's going to end up being our lower extreme. So pretty much it's going to be our minimum. That's our smallest number in this data set, which in this case is 56. Go up to the next point. Actually, let's skip that. Let's just do everything that we know and that's really easy first. We've got our minimum, which makes this number all the way over here our upper, excuse me. We've got our upper extreme. Oh my goodness, this is just not cooperating with me. Our upper extreme, which is the maximum. But remember to use that specific vocabulary of lower extreme and upper extreme. I know you guys understand maximum and minimum, but with box and whisker plots and really anything with statistics, it's really important to make sure you're using that really good math vocabulary of upper extreme and lower extreme. So we've got those 2 points figured out, and now we can do our other points. So we've got 2, and we've got 3 left that we've got to figure out what they are. If we've got 5 dots here, we knew one of those points was supposed to be our median. So the median is always in the what? The median is always in the middle. And if we've got 5 points, it's really easy to figure out which one is in the middle. So right here, literally right in the middle, that is our median. If you can't find it that way, look for your box. Look for your box, and the line going down the middle of your box will be your median. So same thing here. I am going to skip down to this one really quickly. We've got our box, and where is the line in the middle of the box? Right here. So that means that this point is our median. So now we've got our median, our lower extreme, and our upper extreme. The only other two points we're looking for are the lower quartile and the upper quartile. Again, the lower quartile is the median of the lower half of data. So this is our lower half of the data. And there's only one point right here, so what does that have to be then? It has to be the lower quartile. The lower quartile. Which makes our last point right here, this is the upper half of our data, and the upper quartile is the median of that upper half. So this is our upper quartile. Okay. So these are the 5 points on a box and whisker plot. There will only ever be 5. There will never be 6. There won't be 4. There won't be 2. There won't be 12. It will always be 5. And you will always see it like this. The very, very tail end of each whisker will be your upper and lower. And then you will have the box. The box will always be your lower quartile, your median, and then your upper quartile. In tomorrow's lesson, we will discuss more on what these technically are and how to find them. But today, I'm more worried about you understanding where to put them on this box and whisker plot. So just for extra practice, this point right here, what would this be? This would be our lower extreme. And yes, you're more than welcome to use abbreviations like this. You do not have to write out lower extreme every single time. So if we've got our lower extreme, that means the one all the way up here is going to be our upper extreme. Now we've got our median already because I cheated, and when we were doing that first example, I popped down here real quick. So we already have our median. It's in the middle of our box, okay? But with our median here, each end of the box is the other 2 numbers in that 5-number summary, that 5-number box and whisker plot that we're looking for. So if you want to, you can cheat, and you know that it's just the lower quartile right here. But I want to explain it one more time. the lower quartile is actually the median between the median and the lower extreme. So this lower quartile is the median between these two things. And then the same thing with your upper quartile. Your upper quartile is the median between this median and your upper extreme. It is another median, okay? So this is what our box and whisker plots look like, guys. I hope this made sense, and I hope that everything was, you can understand everything. I do want to go back to our notes very quickly. So bear with me just for a second. If you needed to pause back there to finish writing any of that down, you definitely can. While I'm transitioning up here, but let's scroll down real quick. Here is another diagram just pointing out each of those points that I just showed you on the other ones. The reason I wanted to show you the other one first is because on my key in the pink right here, I blocked out each of the sections, which is just to represent each section being 25%. And so you can't really see that well where the box is. It's actually right here. I'll show it to you. The box is actually this whole thing right here. But because of my pretty pink marker, it kind of messes it up a little bit. So I didn't want to show you this first because I don't want to confuse you. You do not have to write any of that, any of the 25% on your graphs. I did it here just so we're all on the same page of this is this section is 25%, this one's 25%, and that sort of thing. So we've got our number line, we've got our whiskers and our box, and then each little speech bubble is just pointing to those things that we just talked about, all 5 of those different numbers. We've got our lower extreme, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, and our upper extreme. So take a minute and fill this little section out on your notes. You do not have to put the 25% if you do not want to. It is completely optional, but that is something that I would like you to know for the future. So even if you just want to do this one right here, that's totally fine. So I hope this all made sense. I hope you were able to follow me. If not, please send me an email and let me know so I can change this up for tomorrow. But yeah, so make sure you head over to the assignment for today and complete the assignment after you watch this video. It will be a completion grade, but I will be taking into account what you get right and what you get wrong so that I can review that with you if you need it. Because if a lot of people didn't get this right or didn't get the questions right, that means that I need to go back and we need to review it a little bit more. So do the best you can on the assignment. It will be a completion grade. However, I do want you to do the best you can so I can get an accurate representation of how you understood today's lesson. But before you go, I just want to say that I miss you guys. I know I say it all the time, but I miss you guys, and I'll see you later. And I promise I'll get better at this whole writing online thing. All right, bye guys.